Today, Anna is creating a C and L curl volume lash set on her client. Let's take a look at her client's eye shape for a second. It is super rounded. So what Anna's going to do is split her eyes right down the middle where the highest point of the eye is. And on the inner to the middle, the highest point is going to be a C curl. And on the highest point where the eye starts to descend, that's where she's going to place her L curl. So today I'm going to walk you through the entire set from start to finish and drop all kinds of tips and tricks on why Anna's doing what to really open your eyes up to the techniques and the fundamentals that go into absolutely every lash set that we create. Let's dive into mapping first. Mapping is such an important point of lashing. You cannot or should not dive into any lash set without having a plan in mind. So today, Anna's working with lengths 6 all the way through 12 for her client. The reason why she's only going to 12 millimeter is because the client was very adamant on having a super natural looking set. It was very important for her. She wears glasses. She did not want them to touch against her glasses. So working with short lengths is important for this type of client. Notice how she's sifting through the lashes. What she's doing here is checking out to see how many layers the client has. The reason why she's doing that is because there are limitations. If the client doesn't have many natural lashes, then it can be really challenging to create certain looks. And today, her model wants a mix of wet lashes. So the wet lashes, they look exactly like this fan that she just created. It's unfanned volume lashes. She wants those across the top layer, and she wants pre-made volume across the base. So the point in mixing wet lashes with pre-made volume fans is the wet lashes sitting on the top layer are going to create subtle wispiness, and the pre-made fans or any handmade volume fans on the bottom layer is going to create that fluffiness. Okay, let's watch her make some fans. So let's look at some things here. Notice when she makes her fan, like I was saying, the fan is closed. It's not open, even though it is handmade volume fans. Guys, a lot of people ask us, can you do this with classic lashes? The answer is no. It's going to create a very different look. But now watch when she dips. We're gonna go really slow on this next shot here. When she dips, notice what she does with the base. See how she brushes it against the side of the glue well? What she's doing is making that base pointy. Let's watch that again. The reason why it's important to have a pointed base instead of a squared base is because a squared base creates ridges. So they extend past the natural lash width, and that creates a ridge for if you're brushing your lashes with your mascara wand, which clients do every day, you're chancing pulling the natural lash out of its follicle because those ridges create a perfect edge to just have the mascara wand get hitched and pull the lash right out of the follicle. So a stacked base is really important. And if your base is squared, it's just important to make sure that you're not using too big of a fan, so big that you create those ridges. Notice how Anna is pushing the tips of the fan together. It's like she's smushing the top of the fan to be smaller. She's doing this to remold the fan after it's already been placed. You can do this to reshape your fan to suit any shape that you want, as long as the glue hasn't yet cured. Also, let's look at how close all the extensions are placed to the skin. She's placing close to the skin without touching at about 0.5 millimeters from the skin. This is ideal if you want a really nice grow out and long lasting lashes. Now Anna's working with L curl. you can actually see the difference in the curl right here when you're looking at the first half of the set versus the second half. You can see that the curls are quite different. A C curl is intended to sweep the eye with just a little bit of lift, whereas an L curl has a pretty straight base and then a lot of lift to the fan. That's going to open up certain areas. So the reason why she chose this curl blend for her round-eyed client is because the inner to middle part of the eye already opens up naturally. It's so lifted on its own. So in order to make the outermost part of the eye stand out, she had to use a lifted curl in this area. Now she's moving on to the bottom layer. So you see how she used the eye pads to pull back all the layers? This is a technique that can be used not only when you're lashing in layers the way that she is today, and in layers, I don't mean that she's doing a different mapping on the base. For this set, she's not looking for a lot of wispiness, a lot of texture. So what she has done is she's using the pre-fans on the bottom layer just for fluffiness and darkness around the base, and the wet lashes on the top layer just for texture. But she's using the same lengths for her pre-made fans across the layers as she is for her wet lashes. So this is just going to create a nice subtle amount of texture. Now, let's think about it, right? The bottom layer sits so much lower on the lash line than the top layer does. So whatever sits on the top layer naturally is going to look longer. So she's going to get about 1 millimeter more noticeability for those wet lash fans or wet lash spikes placed across the top layer than she is going to get from the darkness of the base that she's used her pre-fans on. So this is just a nice little hack. You can break your set into sections. Actually, in fact, this is a nice little hack for lashing faster. You know, everyone always wants to lash faster, but if you are to cover 100% of the bottom layer, so you can use this technique right off the hop. You can start the service by pulling all the lashes back and lashing the bottom layer first, and then go ahead and lash as many other lashes on the top and the middle layer as you can. I promise you, your set is going to look so pretty, no matter what, because think about this. As lash artists, we're looking down on the lash line. So from our point of view, if we lash 100% of the top layer, it's going to look finished to us, but we're not trying to impress ourselves, we're trying to impress our clients. So what we need to do in order for the client to think that the lash set looks complete is we need to cover the bottom layer, because what does the client see when they open their eyes? They see the bottom layer. So we have to get 100% coverage from inner corner to very outer. In fact, when I was inspecting this set, as talented as Anna is, her client's natural lashes were quite challenging. She's never worked on this client before, and I did notice that she missed a few inner corner lashes. So at the very end, I'm gonna walk you through and show you exactly where those inner corner lashes were missed, because this is such a common mistake to make as a lash artist. And the thing that a lot of people don't know is that when you finish a lash set, you can have your clients open up, you can inspect your work, and then you can go back in and lash more lashes. In fact, it just makes you look like you care even more about your client and the outcome that they get in their lash set. So if your client opens up and you've accidentally lashed a rogue lash, which just means it's a lash that sits way higher on the lash line, it doesn't belong anywhere, it just looks out of place, misdirected, or whatever, you need to do a little more coverage, then you can totally do that. What I like to do is a lot about 15 minutes at the end of my service, and that's where I start to tweak stuff. That's like, I don't care how much coverage I got, but now it's time for me to go back in, use my inspection mirror, and really look at the set. I can even lift the eye a little bit. I can get up and walk around my client just to make sure that that bottom layer is fully covered, that the shaping is looking how I wanted, remove any wonky lashes that don't look like they fit, or to cover more of those inner corner lashes. Okay, notice here how Anna just made a handmade volume fan. So she placed a pre-made, she placed a handmade. This is something that you wouldn't believe how many people I talk to, they don't know that you can do this. You can mix any type of lashes together within any set. So if you like using pre-made fans, but you want to learn handmade fans, you can mix handmade and pre-made together. If you're an easy fan artist, but you want to mix in some handmades or some pre-fans, there's no rules. The only thing you have to remember is that both eyes have to mirror one another. So what that means is that they both have to look the exact same. The way that I like to do that is to work on both eyes at the same time. So where I place one lash on my left eye, I go instantly back and place the exact same type of lash, the exact same lash shape, dimension, diameter, etc. on the exact same spot on the opposite eye. And then I work throughout the eye that way. Not only does it create balance, but it seriously takes away so much stress later. Like I've worked on one eye and then moved to the other after, and I feel really panicked halfway through the second eye because I'm like, oh, I don't even know if I have enough time. And I often find that my second eye doesn't look as good because at some point I start rushing. Now let's take a glimpse at the tweezers that she's using. So for handmade volume, she's using Lost Artistry Lashes Grippo Slim Boot tweezer, and this tweezer is specifically designed to be like the tweezer for handmade volume artists. It has an amazing sweet spot, and it is such a great tool to have. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner artist or an advanced one, this tool just seems to work well for everyone. Isolation wise, she's working with our Grippopotamus Precision Isolation. It has a really long curvature, and it really does make isolation so nice, especially for those people who have long nails or they want a longer curved isolation tweezer. It's very ergonomic. I would highly recommend. All right, so we are finishing here with Superbonder. Superbonder is an all-around next level lash product that everyone should have on their station. The goal of Superbonder is to cure the lashes immediately. So what that's gonna do is lessen the likelihood of irritation, sensitivities, but for handmade volume fans, this is a really important point. It cures the lashes so that the fans keep their shape between lash fills. All right, so here is the before and after of Anna's L and C curl volume lash set. Now, I promised you I would look into the inner corners. You see here how there's a little gap between that one fan on the inner corner and then the ones next to it. If I were Anna, I would have removed that lash and moved on with my day. Would love to hear what you think of this set. Leave some comments below letting us know what you think of Anna's set today.